Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Thunder and today we're gonna be doing the final video of the single player aspect of the survival game series. Now, this is gonna include a lot of bug fixing and we're going to make some additions, but it's not really that necessary. But again, I do recommend you watch it so you can fix some of the bugs. So let's go ahead and get started. The most simple of bugs. Or canvas, go here in your game menu scene and we're gonna activate these two buttons. Oh, just the save game and back to main. Now, as you can see, these buttons are showing on top of our settings menu. This is a simple fix. Drag these two above our settings menu and now it's fixed. Now select all of it and deactivate it. And let's try it out. So new game. Wait for it to load. Shouldn't take that long. Alright. So yeah. Now if I do settings, you can see it's showing perfectly. Let's do ultra. I'm gonna change it to low just to make sure that it works. Seems to be. Okay, sorry. Actually, it's not working. Except for the post processing and field of view, which you can see we drag and works perfectly. It's pretty smooth actually, it does it smoothly. Post processing, as you can see, it does miracles. Here it's with it deactivated. Game looks way too bad like this. Now, what's the next thing we're going to be doing? Well, first, make sure that our graphics settings are being applied, which for it, we are going to have to go to our settings menu. So let's just activate it really quick. And we gotta go to our drop down, this one. Then on value changed, we're going to hit the plus sign at the settings menu, I think it is. And we're gonna do settings menu dot apply changes. So that should fix the issue. Well, let's go ahead and new game. Now over here, we're gonna put ultra. And now we're gonna put very low. Let me check if the settings actually changed. Right now it's on ultra still, for some reason. Oh no, it's actually switching. As you can see on the trees, it's working perfectly then. Well, now our settings menu is fixed. We're going to go ahead and add the weapon sway. Also, this is the new furnace model, which I believe I showed in the previous video, but yeah, that's pretty much how it looks. It's a quick model, it's not that hard to make if you have some basic knowledge of Blender. So you should be fine with it. Also, the way to implement it is really simple. Same way you did your boxy furnace that was a square basically. So now that being made, we got a couple more issues to solve. First one being this one. So you see I got 3 things on my inventory. I'm gonna just move over here, save my game, then go back to main, and then load game. You can see it loaded where it was, but my inventory is for some reason empty. So we're gonna solve this issue, but first we're gonna add weapon sway. What is weapon sway? Basically, as you can see, when we move our camera, our weapon stays still. So we're gonna give it some delay so it looks more natural, the motion. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Also, let me just deactivate my settings menu. Now for this, I have a pre-made script. I just need to adapt it to the code, so I'm gonna do that off camera. And I will leave the script down in the description. So go ahead and download it, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, so here's the sway script. go ahead and import it into assets, scripts, weapons. So this folder, well, you can import it anywhere you want. I just do it like this to keep it organized. Now we're gonna go to our scenes and load our game scene, find our player, and here what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our weapons, and inside the actual weapon object where it is the animator, so there is shotgun animator, stone hatchet animator, and M9 animator, and the M4 animator, we're going to do add component sway. Now the window handler, you do not have to assign it. Actually, it will not even be visible for you, as I'm gonna deactivate it. And let's just test it with the default values. Also, here is a way to lock the rotation of the sway if you just don't like it. So I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna go back to main, and I'm gonna hit play, and let's load it, see how it looks. So I'm gonna grab a couple of things. Let's see the M4, pistol, shotgun, and hatchet. So now, as you can see, it looks way more natural. If you don't like the amount of sway, just bring the values down. Also, it's not gonna have any sway while we aim. For obvious reasons, it will make it really hard to be accurate. Well, in case you want to remove that so it actually happens, all you have to do is go into the sway script, and right here where it says and it's not get component in parent weapon dot is aiming, you just delete all of this and that will fix it. So now it will be doing sway while you aim. So just keep that in mind. It's gonna be really hard to aim. I recommend you just leave it how it is. Also, yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's see it with our pistol. Yep. Shotgun. And the hatchet. Yeah, it's working perfectly. Now, this is pretty much the best way to make it look natural. But again, you can play around with the script, change the values, you know, make it more subtle as you wish. It's up to you. Just remember, this is your own game. You can make it however you want. I'm just showing you how to do the code. Also, something else, you can do invert vertical and invert horizontal if you mark this too. And what it's going to do is, wait, yeah, it's not working. Oh, actually, never mind. Forget about that. Now, we gotta fix the jumping issue and the inventory issue. But we're gonna leave that for later, because now I'm gonna show you how to add head bob. So basically, our head's gonna move around when we run. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, for that, we're gonna need to go to our game scene and go to our player, camera look, camera shake, main camera. Now, what we're gonna do is these weapons right here, we are going to drag them out to our camera shake. So the main camera is gonna be separated from it. Also, let's go to our weapon script and check something real quick. All the way up to the start function. Get component in children animator. Adios, get component ID source. Alright, yeah, then there's no issue with that. Okay, now, how do we do head bob? Head bob usually would be done through a script, but to be honest with you guys, I have not a clue how to do that. So we're gonna do it the usual, lazy, and simple way, which is the one that I use for all my projects, which basically is through animations. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We're gonna make an empty in our camera shake, and we're gonna call it head bob. Then inside the head bob, we're gonna drag our main camera. Now, the reason I told you to drag the weapons out, it's the following. Now, if you keep them on main camera, when we move our head, basically what it's going to be doing is the weapon will move with the head bob. Now, on the other hand, this way, the head bob moves separately, so it gives a better effect. Now, if you want to keep them inside your main camera, that's up to you. It's your choice pretty much. So I'm just showing you this way because it's how I prefer to do it. Now, back to this. We're gonna go into assets, animations, and we're gonna create a new folder. We're gonna call it HeadBob. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a animation, actually a animator controller. We're gonna call it HeadBob. Then we're gonna create 3 animations. So actually, yeah, 3. We're gonna create a new animation which is going to be called run, and we're gonna loop it. So mark it as loop time. Then another animation, call it walk, mark it as loop time. Then another animation as idle, and again mark it as loop time. Then double click on your HeadBob, drag the idle animation, and go over here where it says parameters. We're gonna add a boolean, which is gonna be running. So okay, I'm just gonna call it run. Now remember what you call it here, because that's gonna be really important. All right, so go ahead and create another boolean, and it's gonna be walk. Another one which is gonna be crouching, and another one which it's gonna be a float, and it's gonna be x. Actually, no, we're not gonna need that, so just delete it. Now over here we got our idle, then we're gonna add our walk and our run, and delete the crouching over here, I mean. Now we're gonna make the transition. So right click on idle, make transition, normal click on walk, then do it but the opposite, and we're gonna do this same thing with all the animations. Now you're gonna click on the transition, and on every single one of those you're gonna unmark the exit time. So disable it. Now there is a reason for this, so don't worry about it. I'll explain it real quick in a moment. Now this being done, what we're gonna do is on idle to walk. Remember to take a look at the arrows. So this is idle to walk. We're gonna do if walk is true. Then walk to idle, we're gonna do if both walk and run are false. Then from walk to run, we're gonna do if run is true. Then from run to walk, if walk is true. Now over here from idle to run, again, if run is true, but back to idle, we're gonna do if both run and walk are false. Now why is it like this? Basically, the code knows when it's walking and running and when it's still. But here, for this animation, run is always gonna be true when walk is false. But over here from walk, there is a transition also to run, which means if it's walking, so if walk is false, so if we just put walk, it's gonna transition back, but it doesn't know whether run is true or not. So it's gonna transition back even when we're running. So that's why we do 2 for going to idle and 1 for the rest. Now this is all you gotta do. So we're gonna go back to our scene. We're gonna go select HeadBob, and we're gonna drag the HeadBob animator here. Then we're gonna go to assets, scripts, and I believe it would be camera, maybe. Let's do it on player. On player, you're going to right click, create C# script HeadBob. Now this is gonna manage the whole animation interaction. So it's gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna do private player. We're gonna call it player. Then we're gonna do a private float x. Actually no, private bool walking and private bool running. Then we're gonna do a public void, actually private void. We're gonna call it update HeadBob. Then two brackets, and here what we're gonna do is we're gonna need another reference here, which is gonna be private animator. We're gonna call it anim. Then over here we're gonna say anim.setBool. And now here's where you need the exact name. So go over here to Unity and go to your animator. And exactly as the name is exactly how you're gonna type it. When I mean exactly, it means capitals, spaces, lowercase, everything needs to be exactly as it's typed here. So in here, I don't have a space, but if this has one space, I need to type it with that space. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. So we're gonna say walk, which is how I wrote my parameter, comma, and then walking, which is our boolean. And we're gonna do the same but for running. Anim.setBool run, comma, running. Now we need to specify walking and running. So what we're gonna do is update, and if player dot running, then running equals actually no. If player dot running, then walking equals false, and running equals true. Now else here what we're gonna do is running equals false. Then over here we need to say if player dot x, actually no, dot walking, yeah, oh actually never mind, sorry guys, I confused this with another project. Basically walking equals player dot walking, and running equals player dot running. There we go, we're all set. Now let's go back to Unity and actually make the head bob movement. Okay, so how are we gonna do it? Go to scene and select head bob. Actually no, first select your canvas and deactivate it, just so we can have a good look at it. And if you want, activate your, no, don't do that. Now select your head bob, add the head bob script first thing, then go over here to animation. Now if you do not see this tab, what you gotta do is go to these three dots right here, click on it, add tab, and animation. Now once you click on animation and you have your head bob selected, you're gonna see this. What you're gonna do is on idle, you're gonna click this right here, which is record. And now we're gonna change these values. We're gonna do 1, then 0, then rotation, same thing, 1 and 0. Why are we doing this? To just register the keyframes. Then on idle, if you want to do something for it, some movement, all you gotta do is move the timeline around and down, then copy this and paste it here. Now you got a simple motion, as you can see. Now I'm just gonna leave it like this because I don't like to do the idle, as that's gonna affect the aiming. So we're gonna copy this, so select these 3 keyframes and do Ctrl+C, then walk, paste it, but now we're gonna start modifying it. So select your rotation, and we're gonna rotate it a little bit on the first keyframe. Also make sure that it is recording. I'm gonna do something like this, and to the right. I don't usually like to do movement, like position movement, so I'm gonna do it just a little bit, but over towards the opposite side, like this. Then we're gonna copy this and put it on 10, then on 20. And on 5, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reset this all to 0. So select your 5 keyframes and do 0. Then we're gonna copy this and put it on 15. Basically what we have created here is a loop. Now over here on the middle one on 10, what I'm gonna do is X, I'm gonna make it the opposite. Actually no, you're gonna leave it like that. Y is the one that you need to make positive. And this one we're gonna do it negative, and this one we're gonna leave it like it is. So now you get this simple motion, but it's doing it too fast for walking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select them all, and we're gonna grab it right by here and put it to like 1 maybe. Let's do 120. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Now we're gonna copy all of this, Control C, and paste it on run. But we're gonna do it faster. Maybe 40. Let's go with 30. Yeah, that's much better. So now we're gonna save this. Go to project and load our main menu, scene, sorry. And let's test it out. Now we're gonna fix the issue where we have to always go back to the main menu. And it's not really necessary, but just for development's sake. Now you can see that when we walk, we are not getting anything. What's the issue? Headbump.update. Oh yeah, I know exactly what happened. Sorry. So we forgot to add value to player and anim. So what we're gonna do is here, we're gonna do the start function. Let me just fix this. And then over here, we're gonna say player equals get component in parent player. Then we're gonna do anim equals get component animator. Save it. Then let's go back to it. Now it should work. So new game. And still not working for some reason. Window handler that update. Probably that might be the issue. Wait, what? Get component player stats, that is then game menu that opened. Okay, game menu that opened. What's the issue with this? Okay, well, I don't see exactly what's happening, so I'm gonna pause the video, fix it, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright guys, so I already know what's happening. Basically, we're not calling the update headbump function on the headbump script, so just call it from update and that will fix it. Yeah, simple mistakes like that happen all the time, honestly, and sometimes it's gonna take you 2 minutes to realize it, other times it's gonna take you 2 hours. So yeah. Now if I walk, it's moving, and when I run, it's a little bit too fast, so I'm gonna have to bump that down. But now let's go ahead and, yeah, I know exactly what's going on with that. But first let's fix our running, because it's way too fast. So it's on 30 frames, we're gonna do it 45 frames. Yeah, that's better. Now let's save it, go back to our main menu scene, hit play, and start a new game. Oh, actually, never mind, go to game again, and on player, reactivate your canvas, otherwise nothing's gonna work. Go back to main, play, and let's hit new game. Alright, perfect. Let's just pick up our weapons to see how it looks. Now, okay, yeah, we're having a bit of an issue with that, and don't worry, we're gonna fix it. Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Let's go to game. Let's go to player, camera look, camera shake, head bob. Main camera is at 0.3, which basically means if our main camera were to be out here, it will be 0.3. Yeah, the way we're gonna face this is we're gonna create a new empty. We're gonna call it weapons. And over here on the Y, we're gonna give it 0.3. Then we're gonna drag all of our weapons in. And let's just put main camera back to head bob. That should fix it. So let's go ahead and hit play. and a oh, actually we're gonna have to go to the main menu. Actually, you know what? Let's fix this problem. So let's go to our window handler script, and over here we're gonna do if game menu is not equals null, because it's the only one that can be null if we launch it from straight from the game scene. Okay, so here this is gonna be executed now. Copy this code and do else. We're gonna okay, else 2 brackets. We're gonna paste that in, and we're gonna remove this right here. And there we go. That should fix it. So now we can launch it from here without problems. Let's hit play. And now we can open and close our inventory without any issues. So now we're gonna pick up all of our weapons. Hopefully that fixed the issue. And yeah, there we go. Now you can see when we run, it's not playing the run animation, and I think I know why. Slots equipped on that data equals null. What the hell is that issue? Okay. I'm gonna pause the video, find out what's going on, and get back to you guys. Okay, so what's going on is basically this line of code right here on the weapon script, all the way down on the equip and unequip function. We're gonna change get component in parent by find object of type. Actually, no. We're gonna do get component in parent player, and then after the 2 parentheses, we're gonna do dot get component in children camera FOB handler. This is how we're gonna fix it. Then, oh, yeah, my mistake on that. Then we're gonna select all of this and paste it right here. So just paste this, and that will fix it. Now we shouldn't have any errors. The reason that's happening now, it's because it gets the component in parent, which the parent was the main camera, but it's no longer parent of the weapons. So that's why we're having that error. So let's hit play. Let's grab everything. And now, as you can see, when we run, it looks much better. Same when we walk. Now, if we're walking like this, we're gonna have that issue. So keep that in mind. But again, if we stay still, it looks normal. Now, this is way more realistic than before. As you can see, it feels way better. Now, this is pretty much it for the polishes, because next thing we're gonna do is fix the 2 main bugs that we have currently, which would be the jumping. Okay, never mind, jumping's working perfectly. Well, actually, never mind. When jumping gets messed up is when we launch it from our main menu scene. So we're gonna fix that. Then we gotta fix our inventory not being saved. So I'm gonna first, let's get started by the inventory thing, which I'm gonna fix on my own so the video doesn't get long, and then I'll show you guys how to do it. Alright guys, so I already found out what the issue was, and basically the problem is that we are referring to our inventory slots length. Now what's going on, before we would load the inventory mid-game, which means that the inventory slots were already generated. Now we're calling this on start, the same time that our inventory slots get generated. So basically the problem with that is that when this code right here is running, the slots are not generated yet. So how are we gonna fix this? We're gonna give it a delay for the loading. So on the safe handler, we're going to do the following. So we're gonna execute load, but with a small delay. What we're gonna do is, I think it's invoke invoke, yep. We're gonna do load, comma, 0.3 seconds. So in basically 0.3 seconds, it's gonna load, which is barely noticeable, and it's gonna give it that small delay that we need for our inventory to get generated. And also this is on the safe handler script. So just go to the start function and do that. Now, I haven't tested this yet, so maybe it doesn't work. I have to think of something else, but I'm pretty sure that this is what happened. Now, usually such a simple mistake was made because now we're loading from the start function, you know? But that took me around 20 minutes to figure out because I had to do a bunch of testing. So let's go ahead and save game, back to main, then load game. And there we go. See? It's out there now. And that took me 20 minutes to figure out. Now I'm gonna quickly run you through how I figured it out, which is basically I went to the load function, typed on a bunch of debug.log code, then tweaked the code a little bit, little by little, and that's how I found out the issue. That's a simple explanation. Now, obviously, you guys are going to eventually have to start doing this on your own if you're new to coding. Now, the reason I not did all of that on camera is because basically you guys hate it, and I understand that. I also hate doing it. So watching it is way more annoying. Now our save system is fixed. The only thing we gotta fix left to finish the video would be jump. Nope, jumping's working perfectly. Which means that our game is pretty much done. Well, except for swimming, actually. Which we're gonna add really quick, depending on how long the video is already. But yeah, let me just check the length of the video so far and we'll see if we add swimming or not. Well, we're at 28 minutes, which means we got 2 minutes to spare. The video will be like 35 minutes long, so we're good. We're gonna go ahead and add swimming. Now, first thing that you're going to need is go to your game scene. So game. Now, over here, we're going to create a 3D object cube, which is going to be the swimming area. We're going to call it like that. Now we're going to make this cube on the X a scale. We're going to make it like what? Let's make it 1000 by 1000. Now you're going to drag it down until you can just barely see your water. So right about there. Then, you know what? We're going to scale it up so that the bottom is never uninteractable. Again, drag it down and put it a little bit below your water. So this much should be good. Actually, no, let's do it like there. Yeah, about there. Now we're gonna mark the mesh render off. Then the box collider, we're gonna set it to be trigger. Now with this being done, we're gonna go to assets, scripts, and world. We're gonna create a C# script. We're gonna call it swimming area. Actually, no, we're gonna call it water. So we're gonna add one more little detail to that. Now water, what we're gonna do right here, we're just gonna do public void drink, and we're gonna pass it our player stats. We're gonna call it stats. Now this is an extra. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I recommend you do. Now on drink, basically what it's gonna do is we're gonna do a public float water drink amount. How much water are we gonna get every time we drink? I'm just gonna set it to like 20 by default. Then we're gonna do stats dot thirst plus equals drink. Now we're gonna go to our interaction handler and get this out of the way. So we're basically adding a new interactable. So interaction handler. And what we are going to be doing over here, we're gonna add water. Water equals hit that transform, that component, water. There we go. Now, with this done, what we're gonna do is, if over here we're gonna add if water is not equals null, then water dot drink, and inside here we're gonna put get component in parent, and we're just gonna type it player stats. There we go. We already got drinking. Now over here we're gonna say or water is not equals null. We're gonna add that, and over here we're gonna say if water is not equals null, then interaction text dot text equals drink, and we got drinkable oceans already. Now the next part will be on our player script. So let me see if I can just find it here. Yeah, player. Now this is gonna be a little bit more complex, but don't worry about that. What we're going to be doing is first make this, let's hide this on the inspector. So that's just optional. I just want to do it to keep it clean. Now footsteps, then over here, header, swimming. Now over here, we're gonna do a public pool in water. Then on up, then we're gonna add something else, which is gonna be public water. Actually, no, private. Private water. Water. Then on update, right over here, if health is less than or equal to 0, then water equals null. And down here, right after this if, we're gonna do in water equals water is not equals null. Now, all of these ifs, we're gonna say and is not in water. So we're not gonna play in footsteps if it's in water. And it's not in water. So that's the first part. Then where exactly are we calling our movement function? Oh, on fixed update. Yeah. Okay, so movement. Yeah, all of this is fine. This is all perfect. Now over here we're gonna say if it's not in water, and we're gonna execute all of this. But here's the thing. Now let's go back up, and over here we're gonna say public float water speed, which I'm gonna make it equal to like 2. So it's not that slow, but not that fast either. Then on move there equals vector 3.8, move there equals vector 3.0, then crashing, walking, around is false. CC that is grounded. Now this code right here, we're gonna move it also into is in water. So copy it, delete it, then up here you're gonna paste it. If you guys are hearing some car in the background, just ignore that. Then what we are going to do is, instead of equals y velocity, Okay, actually, this also move it into there. Then what we're gonna say is move if input dot get key code dot space, then move there dot y equals, let's say, 2. And next thing we're gonna say, actually before this, we're gonna say move there dot x equals input dot get axis, and we're gonna say horizontal. Then we're gonna do the same thing, but instead of x, it's gonna be y, and over here it's gonna say vertical. Vertical and z, actually, it's gonna be z. Now, next thing, we're gonna say move there times equals water speed. Actually, we're gonna say swim speed. Swim speed. There we go. Now I'm just gonna rename water speed to swim speed. Save it. And I think that should be it, or swimming should be done. Now let's go ahead and do survival game tutorial. Oh, actually no, we're missing one thing. Down here on the player script, we're gonna go all the way down. We're gonna say on trigger enter if other dot get component water is not equals null, then water equals other dot get component water. And on trigger exit, other dot get component. Actually no, on trigger exit, we're gonna copy this. Then we're gonna say copy this. Then if water equals, so add one more equal sign. If it equals that, then water equals null. So we're out of the water. So let's go ahead and try it. Now this should work. Should. Not assuring that will work at the first time, but let's see what happens. Oh yeah, it thinks we're in water. Well, the movement is 100% working, which is great. But I think our issue was that we said if it's not in water, and in water equals water is not equals null. Public pool is in water. Let's just check something real quick. So we're not in water. Oh yeah, I know exactly what happened. So let's go to our moving function again, and we're gonna do here else, and we're gonna copy all of this and place it here. That's what was going on. Now we should be done just with this. Should work. So let's go ahead and see. So we move normally while in ground. We jump, you know, it's perfect. Now if we walk up to here, then we are still not in water. And I think that is because we did not add the water script to this swimming area. So we're gonna do water, not that water, but water, this water, the script. So let's save and hit play, test it out again. So if we get close to it, we are already swimming. Oh yeah, but we got one more issue now, which is the gravity. It's not being applied, obviously. So over here, we're saying move dir dot y equals 2, but we're gonna do else move dir dot y equals let's say 3, so we sync faster. Oh, -3, sorry. And let's go ahead and check it out. Hopefully that will work. So let's hit play maximize. So as you can see, we got 98 thirst, so we're not that thirsty, but we can still drink if we want. Now we are right here on water. Now obviously this is a bit buggy because we're holding space at all times, and when we enter in the water, it's trying to sink us, so you know, like, we cannot exit from it. But we're gonna fix that. Now this video might be a little bit longer, but I prefer you guys having a good polished product than just making a short video. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna say right here, if transform dot position dot y plus move dir dot y is greater than, I believe it would be get component collider dot extends dot bounce dot extends dot y, then we're gonna say move dir dot y equals 0. Now that's gonna avoid us from just that constant jumping, which is gonna be, it's gonna come in handy. And now we're gonna do one more thing besides this, which is gonna be the water effects. So for that, we're gonna create a whole different post-processing layer. Again, at this point, you guys can leave the video if you want, honestly. It's just gonna be simpler for you if you don't want to go through the whole tedious process. Actually, you know what? Never mind that. If this works, I'm gonna stop the video right here, and we are going to be making a new video. Now, as you can see, we are not even singing, which is amazing. Okay, yeah. So what we're gonna do is, if transform dot position dot y plus move dir dot y is, we're gonna do +1 or so, then move dir equals negative move dir dot y. So that's what we're gonna do. So if we're out of extents, instead of making it 0, we're just gonna sync back. We're just gonna make this constant going up and down, but it's not gonna be just jumping, like skipping through positions how it was. Or at least that's the effect we should be getting. And we're also gonna set walking and running and crouching to be false, because again, we don't want any of that. So yeah, the whole skipping thing is, yeah. So on space, we gotta check this. So copy this code because I know exactly what's going on. So over here, we're gonna add one bracket. Over here, we're gonna add another one. And then over here, we're gonna check this. All right, so let's test it out again. Guys, I know some of you get annoyed by the back and forth, but this is coding. This is literally coding. You're gonna be going through code 10,000 times until you get it right. Now, I do it on camera so you guys learn from it and get used to it also. Again, I'm not just showing you how to make a game. I want you guys to at least learn a little. So, yeah. Now, you can see right here, if I press space, yeah, I stay right above water. Which, I mean, it's not really working. So, yeah, so if transform that position that y plus move there that y is greater than a component collided that bounds that extends y plus 1. So this is what we're gonna do. Instead of doing this, that bounds, we're gonna say collider dot size, I believe it is, dot scale, maybe. Let me see what's the, not center, but that size, yeah. So collider dot bounds dot size dot y divided by 2. Alright, so, and we're gonna put this inside parentheses, divided by 2 plus, oh yeah, I know what's going on. So we're doing get component, but it's water dot get component that extends that y. So maybe that's the whole issue. Yeah, so let's go ahead and test it now. Yeah, because we were getting our collider, not the box collider from the water. So we were getting the player's collider at that point. So let's go back there and just make sure that this works. So yeah, this is working. You can see a little bit of a jumpiness, but yeah, what's happening is that so what we're gonna do, instead of negative, we're gonna do 0. So over here we're gonna just do 0. Now, right after we're done with this, we're just gonna leave the video right here, and in next video all we have to do is the water post processing. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch layers depending on where we are. So if we're in water, we're just gonna use the normal layer, you know. Now if we're outside of the water, then we're just gonna use the usual layer. So yeah, as you can see, there's a bit of jumpiness, but there, yeah, it's pretty bad actually. So move there equals 0. You know what, we're gonna fix this in the next video, and we're also gonna add drowning, because right now we do not drown. Well, that's gonna be all for the video, guys. Now our game is almost finished, just one more video, so polishes part 2, which is gonna be coming probably hours from the time that this one comes out, because I'm gonna record it right from now. And as always, if you like the video, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and leaving a comment down below. You got no idea how much that helps and how much it motivates me to keep doing these videos. So I'll see you guys in the next one.